Hello, and welcome to the new episode of the Big Six, or should we say the so-called Big Six? And I was going to make a joke about Chelsea, but I see JPT in the back room, so I'm going to hold back on that for now. So, welcome along. We'll start getting the guests in straight away. We've got an absolute regular, of course, on here, and it's my good friend Manny. How are you doing, my brother?
All good, mate. All good. And it's Friday. It's the day before Premiership weekend. Looking forward to a good stream. Always relaxing as always to come on here. And it is good to see you looking none the worse for wear.
Thank you very much, mate. We will also get a man who's been on a number of occasions, Mr. Ollie. How are you doing,
Big
my
up
friend?
from me on, yeah. Second stream today, just come from Coach's Corner. Big up yourself, he's still live. And yeah, of course, I'll rest talks football after this. But always love to come on here. I've obviously made a few appearances. Yeah, love talking about Arsenal on here. And yeah, of course, Manny said a weekend upon us next tomorrow. Obviously, for me, it's nearly the end of my Easter break, so going back to college on Monday, which is a bit annoying, but you know, I have to go back. But yeah, it's been a great Easter break, and obviously, hopefully, Arsenal can get the 3 points to make my weekend.
I have to say this before I had the next guest. Enjoy your college years, mate. Trust me, work will.
Yeah.
You don't get no Easter breaks at work. Trust me on that one, fella.
Yeah.
But speaking of Oris Talks Football, we have the man himself. Oris, how are you doing, my bro? Obviously, tough night last night. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire.
Listen. No laughing. Guys, listen. We do not rub it in. Enough's enough. Oris, good to have you on as always.
Yeah, man. Big up family on. Big up, man.
Big up your goddamn self, mate. And a man who is, of course, not going to be finishing in no European football this season, as far as we know. It's man like JPT. How are you doing, bro?
Today I am a Sevilla fan.
Yes.
That's what
Calm down, Liverpool.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
I won't be surprised. You know, I'm already saying that too.
Today I feel Spanish.
Finish.
I will not be surprised. Well, let's just get straight into it. Obviously, we're just going to do a review on the games that have happened over the weekend. Obviously, I'll go first on this one. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. I have to say it felt like 2 points dropped when after the game when I finished it. And I'm sort of glad Wenger's house, big up your goddamn self every time, my guy Marcelo, did not do a fan cam because I think I would have lost the plot at a number of, a few of the Arsenal players, which now I've reflected, I'm not going to go too harsh on a certain man who maybe needs to be, the reason why I'm so disappointed is because of how well he's been playing recently. Granit Xhaka, man, as soon as he got in Alexander Arnold's face, on Trent's face, it was just destined to be that Liverpool fans would just erupt. They love it when they have something to cheer about, you know, and they didn't have much before the majority of that game, before their goal. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog in the background squeaking away.
Dog.
Yeah, come on, bro. But it was more, I thought we were controlling the game. I've never seen Anfield. I've never heard Anfield that quiet. And then obviously the challenge, it all kicked off, Granit Xhaka. And as soon as I saw it was Arnold, I was thinking, oh no, here we go. Liverpool fans get behind the team, they score. And I think that goal was very sloppy from our point of view. I don't think it was more of their fans really getting behind the team and that, and them getting the goal back. I think it was more sloppiness. And I saw when we were 2-0 up, I know Zinchenko does this inverted winger. I will come on to my fellow Gooners and the neutrals as well. But I think at 2-0, I think Mikel did make Zinchenko and Tierney change a little bit too late. I have to say Zinny played really well for the majority of that game, but that defending was absolutely terrible. And this is why I always say, and I think Manny will agree with me on this one, and maybe Ollie as well, to be fair. This is why I always say, not being funny, I want to see my guy KT in there. I want to see Kieran Tierney in there. And to be honest, Mikel, I love what you've done this season, bro. But, man, I will have to pick at you because the substitutes, the timings weren't great. Bringing on another centre back in like when you were 2-1 up, I wanted us to go out. I actually said on my Instagram live at half time, I actually said we needed another goal because if we didn't get that third goal, it could get really, really sticky and complicated. And it did. Thank goodness me that we had Aaron Ramsdale. But end of the day, I do think that we may look at it at the end of the season. This is where we'll really look at it. Either 2 points dropped or 1 game if we obviously go on to win the title. But I have lost a little bit more hope now. I still think we can do it, but looking at what City are doing at the moment, they're absolutely tearing it apart, and I am actually so scared. I think we obviously need to go to the Etihad and get something out of that game if we want to really keep our title hopes alive. But Manny, I'm going to come on to you, bro. What was your thoughts on this one?
You know, you started off with Granit Xhaka, and I think it's fair to say that that was another episode, as it were, where we were pretty much back to the same old with him. For all his experience and his age, you'd think that he'd know a little bit better. But I think it's fair to say that given that he hails from the cold of Switzerland, he probably has to have a little bit of hot-bloodedness in him, because how else would you survive in such a cold country? So basically, if you got too much internal body heat, or your blood's a bit too hot, you are prone to such episodes of utter ridiculousness. And having played at Anfield more than a few times, he should have been one of the more experienced players who would know that you do not, pick a fight in such circumstances with any of the Liverpool players and rile them up.
Scouser,
yeah.
It's not going to look good. And it didn't.
Absolutely. Him aside, it was the typical tale of two halves where we're going to talk about Zinchenko now. I am willing to sort of understand in a way why Arteta wants him to play that inverted role, because despite being left-footed, he doesn't overlap down the left wing, but he does cut in and effectively provide us that... He provides us that extra strength in midfield. So basically what happens is that Magalhaes, who is the left centre-back, sort of has to cover partly around that area, and players get shuffled around that way. But the worst part is that because Zinchenko stays so far forward, again, that puts double the strain on Magalhaes and Martinelli, two of our Gabriels, while Jesus is having the time of his life up front. And certainly Zinchenko did play a good role in the attacking play that we had, and I think it was from a pass or a set piece of his that we scored one of the goals, if I'm not wrong. And there is some merit to that in a way. The only problem is we came up against a Liverpool team that have had a decent record at Anfield. The only blemish, of course, being the stoppage time loss to Leeds United, but they've beaten both the Manchester clubs on their home turf. And we don't need to divulge any further. So in as much as it was important for us to succeed where City failed, I wouldn't call 1 point a success. And I remember saying that if we had gotten 1 point, it would have meant that our lead over City would only be effectively 3 games once City played their game in hand. And if City were to cream us at the Etihad, it would be all square. And there's no guarantee that we'd be able to win our remaining games in this run-in, especially given that we got to travel to St. James's Park and also play Brighton at home. And let's not discount Chelsea, because I might mention this. Maybe JPT himself might not agree with me, but under Lampard, I think some of those players are going to be playing for their futures with the club, and it could very well be that a massive clear-out could happen. So some of those players are going to have to really step up and make themselves counted. But back to the game. In the second half, instead of starting to completely slam the door on them, because that Salah goal did give them a bit of hope, as always, we ended up just allowing them to completely overrun us. They started to, really find their stride. Henderson in particular didn't look like the geriatric he was. Trent Alexander-Arnold went from being a deer in the headlights to being, a real big, bad, bronking buck, as it were, and was, sending crosses into the penalty area or deep into the Arsenal half, and they were imposing themselves on us. So the proper substitutions would have been to, if you wanted to take off Odegaard and bring on someone like a Jorginho instead of a Fabio Vieira, who would have helped solidify that centre of the midfield, that would have been okay. And it was also sad to see Ben White and Saka not being able to combine too well down the right wing. I think Saka did have his moments, but overall it was a bit of a disappointing performance from him. And Zinchenko was already starting to, was already leaving several gaps on the left side of the defence, and they were starting to be exploited by TAA and company. So he should definitely have been brought off in the 60th or 70th minute, and Tierney should have been brought on. It shouldn't have had to take Zinchenko getting nutmegged by Trent Alexander-Arnold, of all people, to make that change. And if you see, every single time that Tierney's brought on, he gets 90 seconds of normal time plus whatever stoppage time, and he's supposed to be content with that and not have to go to his coach and say, please, Gaffer, can I have some more minutes? A bit like Oliver Twist, if you will. And even when Tomiyasu's fit, Tomiyasu gets in ahead of him because he likes that. Arteta likes that inverted left back a lot more. So it could very well be that Tierney's simply not valued by Arteta at all. And so we can't simply try and expect him to, be strong and be willing to stay and fight for a spot when he's not even going to get any adequate chance to prove himself. And if, he finally gets a game and he's thrown to the Wolves, what's going to happen to the poor fella? So it's another example of poor man management from Mikel Arteta. His in-game management was also quite terrible. And as you quite rightly said, had it not been for Aaron Ramsdale, we could very well have lost the match in the last few minutes of normal and stoppage time. And I will give Ramsdale his props. I'm not necessarily his biggest fan of him as an all-round custodian, but he certainly showed that when it comes to shot stopping, he is one of the best in the Premier League, although I would rate David De Gea at least marginally better, but Ramsdale is still quite up there. But calm down, Ollie. I've said a lot worse about him. And when I compliment him,
he has indeed. I have to agree. Manny is definitely not Aaron Ramsdale's biggest fan.
Yeah, but I'm willing to give Cullen some slack and allow him to develop himself.
Praise when he does.
Exactly. So this is definitely 2 points dropped, and it means that we cannot afford to have any kind of slip-ups in our remaining games. And that's why, in as much as West Ham and Southampton have been dire this season, there is no way that we can afford to take these games for granted. We've got to take these games seriously. Because
Manny,
if we were
to put this comment on, Ryan, why are you in there? Prem fans only. This is a platform for anyone, Johnny. So Huddlefield Fan TV, Ryan is allowed here. Thank you very much.
Why is he being rude to Ryan?
Another comment.
Can you just block him? I will.
Yeah. I just want to make this clear. How is this a Big Six show with three Arsenal fans? Because Spurs fan pulled out last minute. I'm not going to mention those names. Obviously, we've got Chelsea fan.
Hold on.
United fan.
Liverpool
fans are hard to find nowadays because.
Do you know how to make people mods on YouTube?
And also, hold on. And also,
who else
am I missing? City fans. There's only real 2 City fans on YouTube, and they're way too big for me. So they've got blue ticks next to their names and I haven't. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So I'll just conclude by saying it is 2 points dropped. We have to take those games seriously. And there is no way that we can afford any slip-ups because we had an 8-point lead earlier on that was wiped away. And then City drew against Forest, and then we were able to start pulling away. We cannot afford to get pulled back again. And I'm sure that Ollie and you will agree with me on that.
Definitely. I want to say big up Ryan as well. He's put in, hey, big up, lads. Big up Ryan. Ollie, what do you think about this, man? What's your thoughts on this game? I saw you in a group chat. You and AFC Flair were very, I don't know what the word to use, not too happy, nor myself as well. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously the game started off well. I was really happy that we were 2-0 up. Good goal from Martinelli, and obviously Jesus on fire. 3 games out of 2 now. But yeah, it was definitely felt like a loss for me. It wasn't 2 points dropped. It was a loss. Honestly, 2-0 up. I know Ryan in the chat here, he knows something about being 2-0 up and going 2-0, conceding 2 because his team recently did that. But man, it was annoying, man. Conceding before half time was a bit annoying. Obviously, penalty missed, I was quite, confident. And we were doing well and we were, keeping it 2-1 for a while. And then Firmino, of course, comes on and scores. That's what he does. Yeah, it could have easily, obviously, my guy Ramsdale, don't you dare disrespect him. I would put him all day long over De Gea in a combined 11 all day long in a combined 11 over De Gea. Yeah, anyway, but we'll move on from that. But yeah, Ramsdale, incredible saves at the end, dying embers. Save from Salah and that save from Konate. Oh my God, man, so good. He almost was man of the match. I mean, probably Martinelli with the goal and assist, you could say that he was. But yeah, the thing was Zinchenko as well. Way too late, the sub. What was it? It was like the 88th minute. That's too late, Arteta.
Literally straight after we
Yeah.
conceded second. It was.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing as well, Kiwa for Odegaard, a bit too late and a bit weird as well. Why would you do that? Why? Obviously, you want to be a bit more defensive. Trossard for Jesus was stupid as well. All his subs were ridiculous. Like, why would you bring off?
I think Trossard for Jesus is because Jesus is still not 100% fit, so he can't play a long time. And I think we seem to lose momentum when Jesus come off.
Yeah, and with Xhaka as well, he had a poor game. He's usually one of our best players, and my dad thought, I agree as well. Jorginho could have played instead of him, and I'd like to see Jorginho play next game and rest Xhaka maybe, because West Ham don't take them lightly. I do think it'll be a hard game, but I do think we can win that game. And I'd like to see some change of possibly Jorginho coming for Xhaka, keep Partey obviously. And then with Zinchenko, he had a poor game as well. I would play Tierney all day long. It's also a bit annoying without Saliba. He is a big loss, but Holding, of course, he'll keep his place. Saliba's probably out for a while now. Same with obviously Tomiyasu, but of course, Ben White's been playing right back. Of course, I'd love to see Jesus start again. It's really good to have him back. 2 goals since when he came back. Obviously, he did come back a few games. I think he made some sub appearances and he was in the Sporting team. But it's good to see him back. 3 goals and 2, as I said. Really annoying, man. Gabriel is probably our best defender. Obviously, the penalty was, awful penalty from Salah, but he got the goal. And yeah, I mean, it's a point at Anfield. I was confident we get the win. At least we didn't lose. I said we could have lost there in the last minutes there without Ramsdale saves. But look, we're still 6 points clear. It's in our hands now. I really hope, obviously we won't talk about it, but I really hope we can get the job done against West Ham. And maybe Man City can lose to Leicester and Leicester do us a favour, but that's going to be impossible. But look, it's still in our hands. We've got, they've obviously got a game in hand and they've got an easier runner than us.
But still play Brighton as well away from home.
Yeah, but the game away, that's going to be the game of the season. That decides the title for me. We really need to get something out of the game, even if it's a point. And I think a point would only be all right if we were like many points, like say we're like 6 points clear when we play them. A point would be all right, but I want the win in that game. We need to be ready for that game. Strongest team, hopefully Saliba, but he probably won't be. But we need to play a strong team, Jesus and Ramsdale, like a really strong 11, and we need to win that game. But we need to be winning the West Ham game before that as well to give us confidence. So I would have loved to win this game, but look, positives are it's a point at Anfield. We're awful record at Anfield. At least we didn't lose as well as another positive. But yeah, just annoying that we were 2-0 up and we messed it up. But look, West Ham next. We really need to win. As said, probably 2-1 for us. We have to win that. Yeah, but listen, we'll put this behind us, and I think the only way I'd forget about this game is if we were to get the win on Sunday, and obviously the day before Man City lose. But say Man City win by 1-0 or 2-0, that would be all right. But if they win, it would be even better. But yeah, of course they put pressure on us again. If they win, we have to sort of get a result. But look, it's a point. That's a positive. I was annoyed after the game, kind of like day by day, being a bit more positive about it and forgetting about it. But with the title was still in our hands, 6 points clear, remember. And yeah, we can do it. We can do it. I mean, we can definitely do it.
Yeah. I agree with what the Arsenal man are saying. Definitely, lads. Everything that you lads have said is spot on. We'll come to the neutral fans now. Obviously, JPT, what did you watch the game first of all?
Yeah, I tried to catch as much as I could while at work. And it really looked like you guys are gonna like just destroy Liverpool at Anfield, which not many people can do. And I predicted an Arsenal win because I really only thought there was two Premier League teams that could do what Madrid did to Liverpool at their home, and being Arsenal and Man United. And we saw what they did with Man United. But with 2-0 up, I don't know if Arteta got into his head and overthought it, because Zinchenko did get subbed off way too late, and unfortunate that had to be his last moment of the game. Which I'm sure he's still thinking about. But the substitutions didn't make sense, as you mentioned. Why would you take off Odegaard and put in Kiwior? I think that's when I think Oris even mentioned this in the previous stream today. Was that's when it seemed like Arsenal's momentum just kicked off, or like the pressure was just dead. Yes, when you have your foot on the neck of Liverpool at Anfield, you cannot let that pressure go. 2-0 up. Salah, as soon as that goal came in, I kind of figured what was going to happen. That's all the momentum you needed. How, I'll just say for Chelsea, for example, managed to leave there in a boring 2 games, like in drawless or in goalless draws, is beyond me. Because this Liverpool at home are meant to kill, and they should have done it. But Salah, with the missed penalty, he needs to stop taking penalties. First of all, you can see after Bournemouth, I'm surprised he's still even given that role. And now, Ramsdale, my goodness, performance, I think, of the season, in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. He, the first save, just taking that slight deflection, which was going upper 90, but then the save on Konate. Granted, I don't know why he decided to chest it, or it's what the best thing he had, but that goal was meant to be put away. How Ramsdale was managed to react and keep that out, wow. As a goalkeeper, you can really appreciate that. But I can understand why you guys see this as pretty much like as a loss, because yes, it's 1 point, but you had a guaranteed 3 right there. But either way, 6 points difference it's gonna be by a hair difference of margin, because this can come down to goal difference, and being that you guys are 5 goals behind City. Yeah. This could be, and they still have a game at hand, and most likely, just it's safe to say that they're going to win their game at hand. Just to be real, this game could have costed you guys the season, but it's still plenty of games. 8 games left. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Arteta, I don't know if he picked this up from Pep, but he really overthought his tactics on that game. He came in with a game plan, should have stuck with it. But you just gotta move forward, and again, keep doing what you're doing. Take a game at a time. But you know what? I think one thing that's gonna help Arsenal is to secure whatever chance they have with the season is the longer City stay in Champions League, you'd be safe, because who knows now that 2 goals down to Bayern, or to above Bayern, they might have just done it to seal it, but then most likely they're going to get taken out by Madrid. I don't think City are going to make it to the final, but that's neither here nor there. So it's still in your favor, but I want to say that you guys have bottled it yet, as what the narrative has been all this week since the game.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Now let's hear from Oris. Obviously, what was your thoughts? Obviously, you guys went there. Got beat. It isn't an easy ground, but what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it was for me.
There was no shots fired there, I promise.
It was a great game as a neutral for me. It was a great game, but listen, I think this has to be an Arteta, man, because I thought he made subs way too late. Should have taken Zinchenko way earlier. But for me, first off, man, it was brilliant football from Arsenal. Arsenal took over. The only moment where the crowd got up for it was, I think, when Trent with the Trent and Xhaka moment, and then Trent obviously lifted up the crowd a bit. But listen, Anfield, man, that atmosphere at Anfield is so overrated, man. Honestly to God, it's like a library there. But listen, it was a great game. But after the first half, man, you need to be taking your chances. I'm sorry, but for me, my opinion, first half, I feel like Arsenal should have been like 4-0 up, 3-0 up.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously first two good goals from Arsenal, and then second half, I don't know. I just don't know what happened. Liverpool woke up, scored those two goals, and then that chance at the end from Martinelli to Saka. Oh my God! If he had passed it lightly, just a light pass, probably would have scored. But yeah, I mean, for me, I just want to see how Arsenal bounce back from this. Obviously, you got West Ham this weekend. Just a reaction from this. How will Arsenal react? But for me, I can understand why Arsenal fans will act like it was a loss. So yeah.
Indeed. Just going to get into the comments here. Ryan put he would have took the point before the game, but I understand why it's very frustrating. Yeah, 100%. I would have took the point before the game, but it was just so frustrating. It's Friday. I still ain't got over it. I can't even lie. It's just been.
I'm actually going to counter that and saying, as I said earlier on, I wanted a win.
Yeah.
A point wouldn't have done us good, because now there's a difference, of course, between being 8 points ahead with having played a game more and being 6 points ahead having played a game more. Because City win their game in hand, they're now 3 points behind us. And if they beat us at the Etihad, we'll be even on points. Now, had we gotten the win, it would have given us that extra 2 point cushion. So I wanted the win, and we should have had the win. And that was, I remember saying the same thing on the stream earlier. So no, Ryan, I wanted us to win. And yes, we were able to do what City and United couldn't do. But at this stage in the season, you can't you can't take satisfaction from these little wins. You've got to make sure you get all the points you can possibly get. Yeah. So many of us needed to win, and we're
just disappointing how things turned out. Really, going there last season, losing the year before, getting smashed, and then going there this season, going 2-0 up, and then just throwing it away. It really, really just annoyed me in many ways, and I think Mikel needs to take responsibility for some of this, and also some of the players need to start taking responsibility, because if we lose this title now, oh my God, we're going to get so roasted. Everyone's going to be on it. Oris is smiling. JPT,
I mean, Chelsea fans can't really do anything to be fair.
Oh yes, I can.
JPT would absolutely love it, mate.
Well, I wouldn't say anything, but I'd just be like.
But tell you what, we're going to actually go on to Mr. Frank Lampard back again.
Chelsea.
Actually, that is literally all I've got on my notes, right? What I've got on my notes for the Chelsea game, right? So Wolves obviously versus Chelsea, 1-0. It first says Chelsea. Spent 6 M's, spent 600 mil, and you're still shit. Lampard coming back and holding an L. Obviously now it's 2 L's. Question, lads, quickly. Yes or no question, this one. Is going back to an ex-manager sort of like going back to an ex-girlfriend? You think it's going to work out? You think they've changed? But is it really?
Well, this is more like not even going back to an ex-girlfriend. It's just hitting her up for some quick sex.
Going back for like a couple of months, literally going back for a couple of months.
Just for a couple of rounds, and it's like, you know what? It's summertime. I gotta live my hot boy summer. That's what I'm doing. That's what it pretty much is. That's what I would compare it to, because there's a reason why I didn't give him a permanent contract. It's just like, even if he were to pull it, and actually Bowley would not do this, but if Lampard by some miracle were to pull a result around Real Madrid on the second leg and then win it, he's going to be the dumbass to give this guy a long-term contract.
I would absolutely love that, even if it means I have to hear Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that for another season. I do not care. I would love it if Frank Lampard got the job. I'd be flipping so happy in him. I'd be very happy for Chelsea. And honestly, it'd be amazing. But let's get into it. JPT, will come to you first. Of course, you are the Chelsea fan. Did you see this coming? Did you see Frank Lampard coming back to the bridge? Well, obviously not to the bridge in this one, but going to Wolves and getting something out of it. Did you think that free-flowing football was going to come back?
Hell no. No. That's the thing. When people were getting hyped about, we got Lampard, like, you're really excited for vibes over experience. Why? And I get the same response each time. Because it's proper. I mean, I can't do an English accent, but that's as close as I'll get. Shout out to Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. But yeah, it's proper Chelsea. And then the idiotic idea that Mount is gonna be back, Kai, the Silky German's gonna be back. Like, you do realize we just downgraded twice. We downgraded twice. We had, if we're gonna compare this to like you're saying, you ended up with an ex-girlfriend. We had a top model 10 out of 10 with I can't say I'm calling Tuchel 10 out of 10 when he looks like that. But from that to mid-table at best, average manager and Potter, to being the first manager to ever to have Everton relegated. And yet we think something's going to change. No. And of course, and it's still too early. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter who was going to be in there with these players. We weren't gonna beat Madrid, even if we had Ancelotti and they didn't. You can't really get with it.
You're one of the only Chelsea fans who I spoke to who was not actually confident for that game against Real Madrid. I can't lie. A few of my mates from down here, and no, before you ask people, they do not smoke drugs, so they are clear-headed Chelsea fans.
I smoke drugs and I speak like this.
Exactly. You're actually very clued up for a Chelsea fan. A lot of them really don't like the facts that are happening this season. And to be honest, I was more nervous for watching that game, which I didn't actually end up watching it in the end. But I was thinking more nerve-wracking to watch Real Madrid play Chelsea than watching Wolves players. And the reason for that is because I actually thought you'd actually lose against Wolves. I actually thought they'd either draw against you or you'd actually be beat. The reason why I'm saying this is not me firing shots. This is just me saying you've gone back to Frank Lampard, and the thing is with Lampard, he's a good guy. He was a fantastic player. I ain't dissing his playing career, anything like that. But he clearly got his coaching badges out of a cereal box. I do think that. What did he actually do? Did he get Derby promoted before he got to Chelsea?
He got into the final of the playoff championship. Like, I don't know what the proper is, but it's to get the last spot.
Right.
He lost the final.
Okay.
So that's his golden ticket. And then whatever he did with Chelsea, which is looked as a failure. At least Gerrard went undefeated with, what was it, Celtic?
Rangers.
The other.
Not Celtic. No.
But I was like, it's one of the two. I can't remember who it was. But then again, I don't watch Scottish football.
Well, I just know because my dad's a big Rangers fan. So
so you can't. It's like Spurs and Arsenal. You can't mix those up.
A lot worse.
Yeah. What did he go on? He went undefeated over there, if I remember correctly. That's at least he has that on his resume. But look, he's not ready for Premier League. Mm-hmm. And then, any narrative is like, but Frank Lampard is Premier League proven. As a player, yes. As a manager, Jesus, no. I think if anything, just give him a role to be an assistant to whoever's going to come in. If it's Enrique. And I know Ancelotti addressed the question like, I'm not going to go back to Chelsea. You're playing Chelsea in the Champions League. Why would you say, I'm thinking about going to Chelsea next season? It doesn't make sense, but I still think he's going to take the Brazil job nonetheless. But he's not ready, but he's just here to be caretaker. At least with Crystal Palace, when they got their caretaker in Roy Hodgson, like, he has experience. He knows the club in and out. I mean, so does Lampard, but Roy's always been there for Crystal Palace when it comes to be a caretaker. And Mans is almost at 80 at this point.
Yeah. He's a very old manager now.
Yeah, very.
But he seems to be getting a tune out of Palace, to be fair, doesn't he?
I mean, he's got, as long as this is working, because, I'll tell you this, my president right now, he's about as old as him, and it's losing a little bit up here. Manny, I know that's your boy, but Biden is old, and the age is catching up to him. But that's the thing, Roy.
Hey, listen. You put up with Donald Trump, who was much younger than him and uttering even worse rubbish from his mouth.
Yeah.
He's undergoing physical and mental decline, and he's about to go into the Nick for life.
Yep.
Count your blessings.
He did it for the Nash, as you guys say. So I mean, I don't blame him for that. I mean, but Jesus Christ, I can't believe a former president's about to go into the Nick for an old porn star. But that's that's America for you. But it's but yeah, I wasn't excited. I might have said, like, if at best we're gonna end with a draw, a goalless draw at that. But once you saw the Wolves that were coming at the Molyneux, they are vicious. They are those Wolves, and the Wolves den is a whole different breed.
My cousin, who's a Chelsea fan, called them vicious little pigs.
Yeah.
He called them. Yeah.
I
He
mean,
said
but,
that very angry as he was literally necking a beer. He was like, flipping pigs. I was like, oh, not good.
but look at the thing. And that goal maybe could have been avoided if Cucurella would have actually applied some pressure onto, was it Gomez? I can't remember the goal scorer. I remember the goal. That was beautiful.
I can't lie, that was a beauty.
And he wound that up. I was just like, it's just gonna go in. It's not like Cucurella with the space that he gave him. Like, yep, it was about to be a loss. And lo and behold, and that's the thing. We never looked threatening. We didn't look threatening at all in that game.
No, even when the Aubameyang come on, I was just like, yeah, it's not going to be anyone's day, is it? But yeah, where do you reckon you'll finish before we move on to another one?
I mean,
where do you reckon?
I meant to do this math because I was going to look at because for me, I think at most what we get next out of the rest of the season with our schedule, to be honest, at most I think we get an additional 4 points, and that's going to be from Forest, and I believe the other game is Bournemouth. Yeah. And even that one might be a bit of a challenge for us because we're going to play away, and because I don't know if we're going to pick up a point versus Brentford. You guys are going to be playing for the season versus us, so I'm not excited for that. Man United at Old Trafford, that's going to be difficult. The only thing maybe we can pick up a point is unless Newcastle already secures top 4, is a result there, because I don't think they would go with their strongest 11. But we're definitely going to have to be there if we're trying to avoid relegation, because we're not that far away. We're at 39, and so 12 points away, 4 games, really, out of 8 left. We might be safe, so I would say we end up at worst 13th, at best 11th. Actually, at best, if things go right, 10th. My voice just cracked right there.
Playing and being a Chelsea fan right now. Manny, did you watch this game first of all? What are your thoughts?
I think I saw a bit of it. I definitely saw the goal in the highlights. And listen, I think a lot of Chelsea fans were a little bit naive to expect Lampard to come back and suddenly get a tune out of the boys immediately, because there are going to be some struggles. And I think it's fair to say that when Potter came in and pretty much, had control of the team, I have to say this, JPT, he completely mucked up that team. The very idea that he could... get in the likes of João Felix and Mykhailo Mudryk. I know you snatched them from under our noses, and we're laughing all the way to the bank, having saved in excess of 70 million quid because we got Leandro Trossard for much, much less. And we also, instead of getting Caicedo, we ended up with your old boy, Jorginho, who started well, but showing a little bit of a lack of stamina, as it were, but still a wonderful option. Mm-hmm. These two guys, if they're given time and space, will develop into some really, really serious players. Although, having said that, Mudryk, for how long he's played, should have a better final touch. Wonderful with the ball at his feet, great runner, but his final touch is absolute. It's just toffee, as we would say back in the UK. And MK knows what I'm talking about. So as I was saying, Lampard was never really going to get a tune out of the guys because Potter completely mucked up the composition of the team, and they couldn't even score goals for dimes, if as it were. So Lampard now has a problem on his hands because I think now he's accepted that with the way Chelsea are coming up against Real Madrid, I have to say that second leg is more or less a free hit. Even if you are going to be playing at Stamford Bridge, it'll be a return to the old stomping grounds of Ancelotti, Courtois, Hazard, and Rudiger.
Yeah.
And of course, Modric and Kroos and Benzema still in completely red-hot form. Still my favourites to win the Champions League, although I wouldn't be surprised if they do slip up in the semis or fail to just win at the final hurdle. But Chelsea still have a few problems, and it's going to take some time for Lampard to really get something right. But one thing for which I will give him credit is that he was able to do quite well in his first crack at the job. I think he got you into the Champions League. So you can see that he was willing to try something and, get things right and then stick with that. So he is capable of that. And it's not going to be a full-time job. I think at best he's going to get some closure. But he also has a brief that he has to try to get them back higher up the table. He knows that European football is out of the question, at least like the other interim manager who came in after Jose Mourinho was sacked with the club in 15th, at least get Chelsea higher up the table. But clearly when it came to the game, I think Wolves also, given that they're fighting to stay in the Premiership, it was a repeat of the 3-0 win over Liverpool. And I think we also, we'll be playing them at home on the final day of the season, but we beat them at Molineux, if memory serves me right. But Chelsea still also have a little bit of a crisis of confidence, and he has to try to do something to make sure that the team starts scoring goals again, especially from the strikers. The experiment with Havertz and Mount being up top, and even João Felix and whoever else is there, is really not working. So it's just as well that he's starting to bring Aubameyang back into the fold. And if he's given some time and space and the chance to really get into position as well, he can start to score goals again. So he could end up proving key. And it is disappointing, but let's bear in mind that both of Lampard's games so far have been away from home. At Stamford Bridge, I would like to see the crowd really start to get behind him. I'm sticking my neck out and predicting a Chelsea win because Brighton are due a bit of a blip come the last stage of the season. This could very well be it. And some of these players in the team are going to be playing for their futures. So in front of that Stamford Bridge crowd, they're going to want to make sure that they put up a performance to be proud of and stand up and make themselves counted. So I'm going for a 2-1 win. But I think Chelsea are just going to have to try to look to finish as high as possible. And, of course, after that season, with Mourinho getting sacked, Conte came in and won the championship. So I think Lampard will just get an opportunity to help the team recover and then say goodbye to the club with the closure that he wants. And if he never manages at the club again, at least he has said a proper goodbye. And that segues back into the question that was asked. Sometimes it depends. I often quote an Irish poet, Felix Dennis, who once wrote, never look back, never surrender that future you've earned. Stick to the track, to the beaten track, and never return to those bridges you've burnt. But sometimes, if you feel as though you've got unfinished business somewhere, and you really feel that you want to have the closure you want, and if you feel that's the right thing to do, why not? At least take a shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move on. But if it does work, at least you got what you want. And I think the one thing that everyone regrets is the chances that they never take. So it's clearly a chance that Lampard felt that he had to take to at least set the record straight. And let's just see how well he does.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Ollie, we're going to come on to you. What was your initial thoughts of Wolves 1, Chelsea 0?
Yeah, I backed Chelsea in this game. I really did. But I'm starting to do that less now. I'm going to predict a Brighton win. I am disagreeing with Manny there. I mean, Chelsea could do it. They're at home. But I just feel, Brighton, they're higher in the table, on better form. Yeah, moving on to this game, poor from Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, Wolves aren't doing that well, and losing to Wolves just proves how badly they're doing. They haven't had a great season. Basically, the season to forget, really. Hopefully, next season they do improve, possibly fight for the top 6. But yeah, I do. Obviously, they're not doing well in the Champions League as well. I don't think Real Madrid are the favourites. I think Man City are probably the favourites. With Haaland in their team, they've got to be the favourites for me. He's breaking records. He's a machine. He's honestly, in machine. So yeah, I think Man City possibly favourites, and that Real Madrid. I could see it being a Real Madrid Man City final. It could be. But yeah, Nunes with the goal. He got injured as well. But yeah, Felix, he's not doing well. Mudryk as well. Their signings aren't paying off. They spent all this money. Similar with Forest as well. It's a good comparison. Forest spent all that money and they're now fighting for relegation. Chelsea, spent all that money. They're now mid-tables there. And for me, Frank Lampard's a bad appointment. I've said it whenever I talk about the Chelsea manager. Sacking Tuchel was the worst decision. Should have kept him. Potter as well. He was doing well at Brighton, and they snatched him from there. Like they snatched Cucurella as well. I mean, we're similar as well. We've got Ben White and Trossard from them. Possibly trying to steal Caicedo as well if we possibly get him in the summer. But yeah, poor from Chelsea yet again. I do see them getting another loss. 2 losses on the bounce. I've backed Chelsea a lot, but I'm going to start not backing them anymore. I mean, I think answering the question you asked, JPT, I think the best they can get is 10th, maybe 9th, and the worst they can get is probably 12th or 13th, maybe. But yeah, not a good season, and this result isn't good as well. And it's going to get harder as well. Brighton away, they've got some tough games as well. But as I said,
I think
not
Brighton at Stamford Bridge, or is it away?
Yeah,
it's at the Bridge. But either way, it's not like we play good at home neither.
But you still obviously got to play Man. You've got to play Man City away. You've got to play Newcastle home, Arsenal away. So you've got some tough fixtures. It's going to be tough for you. But yeah, not looking good, and this result wasn't good. I mean, you could possibly get something out of Brighton. You never know, but yeah, but not good. Not good from Chelsea yet again, and I'm going to stop backing them. Cucurella isn't doing well. The whole team isn't doing well. But maybe they'll prove me wrong tomorrow. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, not good result for Chelsea.
I can't lie.
Yeah.
Having my sister's boyfriend being a Chelsea fan, I can't lie. I'm enjoying it at the moment. Having quite a few mates who are Chelsea fans as well. I'm absolutely enjoying their downfall. But Oris, what was your thoughts on Wolves versus Chelsea? Obviously 1-0 up the Chelsea. Couldn't happen.
Proper Chelsea. That's why I want Lampard to play a proper Chelsea. Plays a proper Chelsea, man. And I do think Lampard will get the permanent job, in my opinion. But yeah, that's interesting. But Chelsea lose again. It's not looking good, man. It really is. And I expect Brighton to win 3-0 this weekend against Chelsea. So listen, Chelsea are absolutely going to get dominated by Brighton.
Cover your ears, mate.
I know. I predicted a 2-0 win, Brighton.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
Because, look, I mean, you can't change my mind about the 0 because, I mean, look, we haven't scored a goal since almost a month now, or if not a month now, and that was a penalty kick. Unless Brian give up 2 or 3 penalties, we're not going to see anything really on the board. And it's Brian, I know that's all I was going to say. And then Brian is playing for Europa. They're 2 games in hand. They can easily take over Villa, and then they're going to challenge. They're going to be 1 point behind Spurs. Spurs, I think they're going to fall beneath both of them. They just I hope they do because they deserve that after that robbery they pulled on Brighton.
Yeah, definitely. Oris, coming back to you, what else do you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, they got dominated, man. Chelsea got dominated. I mean, Havertz. I mean, they listen. Just a reminder, Lukaku's coming back, so I really don't know what Chelsea are going to do with the summer. But listen, Chelsea fans, they like to blame managers. They want Lampard. He can't do anything with the team. He can't because some of those players, they're just not good enough. I'm sorry, but that's after them. Mudryk. Oh, Mudryk, man. Oh, my
009, I believe.
yeah. But I think there's nothing that. They're not just half of them. They're not good enough to play. And yeah, this weekend's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Chelsea. But listen, hopefully Lampard gets the permanent job.
Definitely. We're just going to quickly fly through this one. Southampton 1, Man City 4. We're just going to briefly just say, obviously, all I've got written down here on my notes is my dog. My puppy's literally chewing my jacket because it's got a little sparkly thing. That's keeping him quiet. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, I just want to say I expected no less, to be honest. Chelsea, Southampton. Sorry, JPT, I'm mentioning Chelsea again. Southampton, they're a real mess. They've gone through it this year. I feel sorry for all their fans, to be honest. Southampton's a nice place as well. I feel sorry because I actually do think they'll be playing Championship football next season. But City, I'm just glad it wasn't more. I'm just glad that there are only 5 goal difference between us, realistically. And 3 points. I'm going to say 3 points because we know that they're going to win that game in hand. Unless some miracle actually happens, I do think they'll win that game in hand. As you can see, I'm not as confident as I was a couple of weeks back. Let me tell you that. But yeah, Manny, what's your quick thoughts on this one? Southampton 1, Man City 4.
Oh, when the Saints boom 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 go marching down. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, when the Saints go marching down. Yes, we'll all be in that number when the Saints go marching down.
Amazing.
Lambs to the slaughter. Lambs to the slaughter. And I think even if you want to give them credit for holding City scoreless for the best part of 40 minutes, once Haaland scored, it was a case of the floodgates opening. Grealish started to weave his magic, and the rest was history. Lambs to the slaughter. And even though they did pull a goal back, it was only a matter of time before City responded immediately with a penalty being won in their end. So City are everything that Arsenal must aspire to be. When people knock us, we've got to knock back. Instead, we seem to still allow people to continue having the momentum over us, and before you know it, we just overrun. We have to learn to really fight back aggressively and fight even harder, especially when people are threatening to, come back and take something from us. And that is one thing we have to try and learn to do a lot more often and a lot more ruthlessly. And City also have the players, so they can get away with the same tactical rubbish that Guardiola does and Arteta does at times, because Guardiola also has a similar issue with Kyle Walker, in that Walker is a terrific fullback, very pacey, but he doesn't fit this new system where he uses 2 centre-backs as auxiliary fullbacks in John Stones and Nathan Ake. Both of them end up cutting in. And then he wants to play a back 3 at times, but he doesn't have the wing backs like Denzel Dumfries and Daley Blind. It'll effectively have to be Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne doing similar work like that, and it looks imbalanced. So City do have defensive issues. They're not by any means this perfect, well-oiled all-round team, because defensively they can certainly be weak on a few occasions. Liverpool exposed some of their weaknesses, but the difference between them and us is that they've got the informed players and the quality of talent in both the midfield and the attack to make sure that they can withstand any of that. We're not quite there yet. And so we need to think well before we try to ape City every chance that we can get, which is what Mikel Arteta is trying to do. And when you take a look at Erling Haaland, why else do you think Manchester City were willing to let us have Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko? Of course, they got rid of Cancelo, but they still got Haaland. You see the levels in this thing, yeah?
Definitely. I believe Ollie has to go. So, Ollie, quick thoughts on the Man City game before you go, mate?
Yeah, of course. I'll talk about this and obviously, have to go and do socials, whatever. But yeah, of course, big up Fagnon. But before, obviously, I'll review the game. Of course, Man City do what they do. Haaland back, of course, getting 2 goals.
He scored more goals than Chelsea now, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, he's on.
Sorry,
on
JPT.
breaking.
Yeah, City's going to win the league.
Breaking so many. No, they're not. Breaking so many records already. You know, He's definitely already the top goal scorer. That's no doubt about that. But yeah, he's on fire, man. And they seem to do well without him as well. Obviously, Alvarez got the goal when they weren't playing. He wasn't playing. But yeah, Man City, of course, another win for them, putting pressure on Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal had to respond, but they didn't. They got a draw. But listen, I mean, Man City, they've got Leicester next at home. Should be an easy 3 points, but don't discount Leicester. You know, they've got a new manager now. We'll wait and see. Yeah, but I'm honestly hoping and praying Leicester do something. But I predicted a 4-0 Man City in that one. But yeah, good result for Man City. Southampton, they're definitely going down. The teams, I'd probably think Southampton, Bournemouth, and Everton will go down. I'd love to see Nottingham Forest stay up another season. My friend's dad supports them, and I do have a little bit of soft spot for them. Yeah, I don't want them to go down. I'd rather Everton really or Leeds. But yeah, great result for Man City, no doubt. I did predict a 3 clean sheet. I predicted a 3-0, but yeah, Southampton with a late goal. But yeah, Haaland on fire, of course. No stopping him. Hopefully, you know, he goes a bit quiet when he plays Arsenal. Maybe just could go a bit easier on us, Haaland. Let us win the league. But yeah, I mean, Man City on fire. I mean, it's definitely they've, you know, defied the odds now of the title race. It's getting interesting now. 6 point behind us now. Get a game in hand. They've got to play us. They've got an easier run. So it's going to be interesting who wins. But we'll wait and see. But yeah, good result for City. No, of course they were going to win this.
As I didn't realise the streams actually carried on so long, so we're quickly just going to run through the rest of the games that's happened because I didn't realise we're being 54 minutes in. I think.
Yeah,
That's about 3 games.
Go, by the way. MK, should I shout on my socials before I
Yeah, quickly shout your socials, Ollie. Hold on, let me put you in solo screen. Sorry, I've got literally my little puppy biting my hand off here. That's quite difficult. Oh, I literally had it solo as well. I just clicked it.
There we go.
Delayed. Right, there we go.
Yeah, big up, guys, having me on. Big up yourself, MK, of course. Big up the panel as well. Manny, I'd love to have you back on my channel. It's been a while, mate. Big up Arrest as well. Make sure you check out Arrest stream. I think he's going to have to delay it. Obviously, he's going to go soon as well, but check it out. Just before 8 p.m. It's probably going to be delayed, but it's going to be a great stream previewing the games on the weekend. My third and final stream today. Of course, I had Coach's Corner before this and this one now. But yeah, catch me here, AFC Talk Show. Love to come on here. Coach's Corner, just been on that. Rest Looks Football, Villa TV. Haven't been there for a while. Recently made an appearance at Huddersfield Town Fan TV. Yeah, but you can find me on my channel, DJ Sinclairo, of course. Do Prem reviews, and when I go to live gigs, so my next gig is a festival next month, Highest Point in May, so that's going to be good. Lots of videos out from that. But yeah, Prem reviews almost every week when I can. International breaks, obviously I do take a break, but there won't be many. I think there is a break coming up soon. So, but yeah, next stream will probably be Wednesday or Thursday sometime next week. But make sure you go subscribe. I think I'm 2 away from 1,060, and make sure you watch my other videos in public watch hours. Apart from that, Ollie.Sinclair556 on the road to 500 on there, my main account on Instagram. Think about 44 away or something, less than 50 from 700. And then on my Aaron Ramsey fan page, 14 away from 500. Let's try and get that soon. Aaron_Ramsey fan page 1. And another one is on TikTok, 3 away from 400. I'm not sure if that's the same. Ollie Epic 556. Big up for having me on, of course. No Facebook or Twitter. If you want to message me on my personal account for like Snapchat and consoles and stuff, do message me there. But big up Mason. I'd love to make another appearance, and make sure you check out my channel, as it says down here. Stream next week, and make sure you head over to Rest Stream now before when this one ends. Yeah, big up for having me on, mate, and Mason. Obviously, you know, it's a shame to lose Flair, but we've got safe hands with MK. Yeah, big up for having me on, mate. Love to make another appearance. Of course. Come on, you guys.
I did not pay Ollie to say that this channel is in safe hands with just me leading it. I did not pay him. Please. I just want to make that clear. Big up, Ollie. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
The rest of the games, obviously, we're going to quickly mention this one. We're not going to get into the Spud one, so we can forget about that one. I think Brighton was quite hard done by, I ain't going to lie. But as we've got a Manchester United fan who also needs to go for his own stream, we're going to get straight in to this one. This is going to be our last game. Normally, it will be all 6 teams, but we can just miss Spursy off for now. But Manchester United 2, Everton 1. Oris, what was your first thoughts about that, mate? Good result for you
Yeah,
guys?
good win. I mean, it should be more than 2, but yeah, it was a good win. Should have taken a chance, but I'll take him. And obviously, McTominay scored, and obviously Martial as well. So two good goals. As I said, it should be more. I feel like Everton. I feel like they were poor, but yeah, they could have done something at least. But yeah, it was a good win for United. We had to win that, especially. But yeah, very good win, man. I was happy, but it should have been more goals for me. It should have been way more, but I'll take it.
No, good result. I know you've got to go, mate. So do you want to shout out your socials, correct? Hopefully this will work first time. But
Yeah. Big up for having me on, man.
Big up yourself, man.
Appreciate the invite. Obviously, make sure you guys subscribe to AFC Talk Show TV. But yeah, obviously my socials, Oris Football on YouTube, Oris Football on Instagram. That's it really. Twitter. If anyone's on Twitter, then Oris Talk Footy. So big up for having me on, man. Appreciate the invite. Make sure you guys smash the likes here. But yeah.
Big up, bro.
Big up.
Banging. Make sure you guys go check Oris Talks Football out as well. We're going to quickly have some thoughts from the 2 lads who are still here, Manny and JPT. We're going to come to Manny first. Obviously, Manchester United. We're not going to talk about the Seville game, even though I really want to, but we're not going to mention that, considering we're out of Europa League. So I'm going to go easy on United. But that 2-0 victory at Old Trafford, I didn't really see too much of that. My puppy's really getting annoyed with me now. I didn't see too much of that, but from what I saw, it looked like a proper controlled game. Did you see much of that, Manny? And what was your thoughts?
You're muted.
Oh, mute, mate.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I did see quite a bit of that, and I think Jordan Pickford rightly ends up getting most of the headlines as Everton's best player, because had it not been for him, it would have easily been 4 or 5-0. And I think that was another performance which a typical Ten Hag performance, really. Ever since this Dutch coach has come into the side, he's sort of brought back that sort of a system which he wants to see played. And despite the dreadful start they had, they were able to recover from that quite well. Even the 6-3 loss to City at the Etihad hasn't really stopped them from going onwards and upwards. I think the big problem is that now they're coming into a stage where several of their players are dropping like flies. So again, it is going to be all about the bench strength of that team. And for all the critics of Arsenal's poor bench strength, United aren't exactly, they're not exactly well stocked in that regard either. So it will be interesting to see how far they can really go this season. They've got the second leg against Sevilla, obviously, and in addition, they've also got some pretty tough games coming up later on this season. But this Everton game, obviously, it was as controlled and as professional a performance as you'd expect against an Everton team led by Sean Dyche, which is, of course, fighting for its life. And you want these sort of performances in many ways, because you really don't want to have a situation where you give a team like Everton an opportunity to try and fight hard and get something against you. So a good win for them, but they know that they will definitely have a lot of they've got much bigger fish to fry, and they're going to need to put in some really good performances coming into the stretch right now, because as we've seen against Sevilla, a few injuries could really upset their apple cart.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. JPT, what were your thoughts?
Didn't get to watch the game properly. I blame my streaming service here, but you know what? It just seemed like it was like another day in the office for Erik ten Hag and his United side, even without Casemiro, and look like, from what I see, like on the lineup, like not the strongest 11, but enough to pull a clean sheet, 2 goals up. Oris was right. It should have been more, 11 shots on target. You would think they would execute more, but it's just United are just they have that much of a stronger team compared to Everton. But pretty simple, yeah. Sean Dyche did what he could do with the side, and I think they did get a proper replacements. Hint, Bully, from going on from Lampard to Sean Dyche, and it's been a hell of a replacements. Still not out of the danger zone yet for them, but I do think that he's going to bring them up on the other side just to break through. But you know what? You're not going to really find that result versus United at Old Trafford, so it is what it is. And yeah, Pickford could save from embarrassment from what I've seen the highlights on. But yeah, that's pretty much quick thought. But I do have to go Mason. So
definitely, we're gonna. Manny, can you shout your socials out, my brother? It should work.
Yeah, be happy to. You can catch me on Instagram at Manny Thungatherai 1981 and on Twitter at Thungatherai 1981. That's where you'll see me post a lot of stuff related to sports and politics and maybe a few world affairs snippets and some other stuff in between. On Twitter, you can see me getting into a few rowdy discussions with some other football fans about certain topics. If you enjoy a little bit of friction, you can come and catch me there. And with regard to YouTube, first of all, big up to MK the Don and AFC Talk Show TV. Love getting involved with this channel as much as I can, and I hope to continue to be involved in the future, obviously, and I'll be willing to do so in every way. Shout out to my other channels, Del Boy Gunner TV, S Featley TV, Oris Talks Football, where I'll be hopping on to now, Coach's Corner, where I was on before coming on to AFC Talk Show TV, Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, Up the Cherries in all departments, which is the Bournemouth fan channel, and also Ollie's DJ Sinclairo, his channel. I've come on his stream a few times. Also Villa TV and quite a few other channels, which I don't really have the energy to really name all of them at the moment, but I am thinking of them. And always fun to talk about football with like-minded fans in a respectful environment. It's not about engaging in mindless banter. It's about being respectful of one another and making sure that everyone gets a chance to have their say. You agree to disagree and don't be disagreeable. That's the way I want to go about things. So big up as well to everyone who's contributed in the chat. You're the ones who make this video and this channel what they are. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the upcoming football. Don't do anything that MK, JPT, or myself wouldn't do. But for now, I am out.
Absolutely legend. Thank you very much, Manny, for joining. Man like JPT, shout out your stuff, my brother.
Sure, you can find me at the Out of 10 podcast. I'm going to be going on to a stream now on Oris Talks Football along with Manny. And then shortly after, I will be on Nick Blue's, the Blue Sands stream. Another great Chelsea content creator. Very, very been here for a long time with Chelsea. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be more active on here. And of course, big up to MK the Don and, taking over the channel on your own since AC Flair, which, by the way, Flair, if you're watching, we miss you. I hope you're doing well. And big up to the chats, especially Ryan, Hashim as well, Oris, and FU, Johnny, because, yeah, no need for talking like that for anyone who just here to enjoy a good stream and support a friend. And, Ryan, we always have your back, so never forget that.
Facts, absolutely. I just want to say, Ryan, we have your back, of course, 150 million%, mate. And don't worry, Johnny, you're not welcome to say those sort of things here, man. Ryan is an absolute legend for just supporting everything. And you're allowed to support and show your support to Premier League football as well, So, Ryan, you're always welcome on here as you well know that. Big up your goddamn self, my G. But that is it from us. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'm going to have to go sort this little bugger out. But make sure you like and subscribe. Go check Oris Talks Football out as well. They're about to go live now. I will be in the comments. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'll see you guys soon. This is the episode 1 of the Big Six show. Sorry, Tottenham fans. We couldn't do your game, but hey, it is what it is. yeah, but big up, and make sure you like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much.
I'm sad.